There she is, telling us we're recording. And I just woke up today so excited to talk to you because from the moment I met you, which was on Zoom, and I was so taken with your mission and your message, and I just adore you.
Oh, let me just anchor that in my beingness. Yeah. Whew. I think it's so cool to feel the flavor all the time of being. I used to not be able to know how to receive the acknowledgments. And I had a businessman tell me, years ago, and he said, they said something really nice to me, and I said, yeah, but, and then I went on like that, and he goes, stop. He said, don't you teach acknowledgement? I go, yeah. He said, why don't you just say thank you? And I went, good idea. It's like, we're all learning, this is like.
We are all learning. So Sparky, welcome to the Wishbeads podcast. We're diving in. I am so honored to have you to share your story and your billions of blue ribbons out in the world making a difference. And can you there's so much. And of course, in the podcast, I'm including all kinds of links for everyone to learn more about you and your work and your mission. But can you just tell us a little bit about your inspiration? How did Blue Ribbon begin? How did you have this? What's your origin story?
Yeah, so the truth story is that 40, I was just 80, so 80 years young. Isn't that too cool? And
yes.
40 years ago, my husband and I were multimillionaires. We had a home on the ocean. We had all the stuff, mom of two preteen sons. That was the good news. And my husband was a beloved and brilliant entrepreneur, and everybody loved him. He's super generous. Behind closed doors, he was a controlling and intimidating and verbally abusive man. And I would be shriveling, and I was invisible, and I was a top producer, and I managed one of the top real estate offices in San Diego and made a lot of money. And, in my clients, I was great. I just shriveled up, and in 18 years of marriage, one day I just got out of my new Mercedes to go into our home overlooking the ocean, all this beautiful stuff, and the lights went off inside of me. I can't explain what suicide is to anybody else, but when you don't have any hope left, there's no logic to it. And I just said, I got to take my life. And I planned it. And here's the miracle of the ribbon, and the miracle that comes out of the death of one soul, and it blossoms like a flower out of the cactus, out of nothing. The day I was going to take my life, I fell to my knees and I'm just sobbing, and I'm screaming to the heaven, stop the world. I've got to get off and find a place in a way where people love each other. And suddenly I heard this sweet little voice inside of me. I never heard such thing. And a voice said, you can't take your life because you're going to sing, dance, write, and have a musical on Broadway in New York City, and you're going to bring love to the world. Just like I'm talking to you, like Mozart would download music. I swear I didn't. I'm a mom, I'm a real estate agent, and I go, say what? And I pop up like toast, like I'm a new person it's like what do you call caterpillar to butterfly kind of thing.
Yeah,
I just
reborn.
popped up. Yeah, I popped up and I went, really? And then what was born, and I think the thing about the blue ribbon is it says who I am makes a difference. The discovery of our selfhoodness, if you will. Who would know these things back 40 years ago? Who would know you get married, you get to be a wife, you do your mothering things, you wash the clothes, whatever, right? And so I when you have a dream, anybody that has a dream, I didn't have a dream at the time. I just hold on a second. My clock is I don't know if it rang and interrupted anybody, but it just said I'm supposed to be with you. Okay. Hey, it is what it is. Okay. So, but the thing about it is that I got excited and I told my husband, I'm going to sing, dance, write, and have a musical on Broadway in New York City. And I'm going to put my real estate career on the back burner. By which he just rolled his eyes to the ceiling and continued to read his sports section. And I went to my neighbor and I said, Margie, I'm going to sing and dance, right? And she said, you're too short to be a dancer. You're too old. My husband owns a publishing company. The chance of you being a published author, you might as well forget it. And besides, you can't even carry a tune. And I said, well, yeah, so can't you get a coach? I mean, what do I know? I'm a businesswoman, a real estate agent, right? So the fast forward of all this is I did call a friend of mine on Broadway in New York, and she told me where to go to audition. I auditioned, and with kids that were 17 to 23 years old. They were professionals on Las Vegas and Broadway stages. They were extraordinary, and they got big applause. And I got nothing when I got up and sang. They just stared at me because I was so off key. It's like, what is she doing here? And I just kept staring and smiling. I was so happy that I did that. And finally they started to applaud. I said, how was I? And they started to applaud. And the more they applauded, they started more applauded, more I smiled. And anyway, I landed the role because it was a musical comedy and they thought I was a comedian. Nobody ever went down to this place unless they were professional. And so I'm just saying that I wound up leaving my husband, realizing that working in that atmosphere for 3 months and rehearsing with young people changed my life, taught me about community, was in competition like in real estate. I loved it. And I realized that I was in an abusive marriage, and I left my husband. And in the process, I volunteered for the San Diego Hunger Project and talked to kids about ending hunger. And I discovered that people were starving like me inside for love. And I created a blue ribbon. And I thought, everywhere I went, somebody's complaining, or they're losing their jobs, or their mother's got cancer, or a child just got arrested for drugs, and everybody's got problems. And I thought, maybe they just need to be loved and encouraged. I'll create a blue ribbon that says who I am makes a difference. And I began honoring people. So 35,000 people were honored in the first 3 months, and that's what started it all.
And what year? I mean, I'm so, wow, Sparky, I just have to acknowledge you. You are a spark of light. Your infectious laugh, your smile, your spirit, this love that pours out of you. I felt it through that Zoom lens when we met that first time. And I'm just in awe. What year was that show? What year did that happen to you? Just to get a context.
Yeah, it was September 1979.
1979. Unbelievable. And then how did you go from your experience on stage to, and let people know, what is the blue ribbon? How did the blue ribbon come to be?
Yes. So I prayed on it after being in the Hunger Project. I had, after I spoke about how to end world hunger, I was speaking on behalf of the Hunger Project. And the kids were coming up to me and saying, my dad just lost his job and we're going to lose our homes. Oh. And kids would come up and say, my mother's got cancer. And somebody else would say, I just, all of that came at me. And I prayed on it. And I said, what do I do? Well, I don't know. I'm going through a divorce. I'm all messed up myself. I don't have any, I can't tell you anything. I don't even know who I am. And then in the process, I was, how spiritual is the group that are listening? I
think everybody's spiritual, okay, whether they know it or not.
Let me just tell you the truth about this. So I'm thinking, how can I make a difference? By the way, that language wasn't around in 1979, 1980. So I'm invited to Om for the full moon in Malibu. Okay, I just don't know what all that means, but I don't go, what's the moon? What do you do? What? Somebody says, oh, me. Because anyway, I wind up there and they're all eating these foods. Like my husband was a scotch and soda, and prime rib, and everybody's eating like these things like carrots and
Tofu.
yeah, tofu and like that. I don't understand any of it. Okay. And they were in a beautiful house in Malibu and a moon, and then they were oming to the moon, and for peace and everything. And so I'm scared of all of these people. I don't understand anybody there. There were palm readers there. I don't know. It's like, I don't understand these people. Okay. So I went out with my little plate of carrots and broccoli, I think, and I went to the outdoor, there was a nice outdoor thing, overlooking the mountains there, like a deck. That was it. And I'm all by myself, and I'm thinking, let's see, how do I tell people that they matter and make a difference? I'm thinking it about, I don't know how many feet away, but about 10 or 15 feet away, these two women turn and say, remember to put the I am affirmation in your ribbon. And it says, who I am makes a difference. I said, oh, okay. And I went, huh? I was just thinking it. They were psychic. The people that were there was like, I don't know who these people were.
Mind readers.
Yeah, exactly. And I came home and I made a button that said, who I am makes a difference, and ordered 1,000 buttons. I had no money. And I put, like, my last money in the world was $500. And I bought 1,000 buttons, and I just went, and it says, who I am makes a difference. My Hunger Project game. I was feeding the soul of people, and that was my thought. And I went everywhere I went. I just popped a button on somebody. I didn't ask him if I could. I didn't say, am I going to mess up your shirt or something? I drove into this area where this lady was pulling a weed, I remember, in a military environment. Wasn't very many beautiful plants, and she's pulling the weed and planting the rose bush. And I thought, that is really cool. So I pull over my Mercedes. You got to get this. I pull my Mercedes over. I run over to her, and I said, excuse me, ma'am, but thank you for pulling the weed and planting that rose bush. And I popped this button on her, and I said, because who you are makes a difference. And I just zoomed off. Okay. And I would do that all the time. And people started to say, who is that masked woman? And,
Oh my gosh.
and the button, I went away for a year and a half. I left after I was a co-chair for 8 months. We enrolled 10,000 people to do something 10 world hunger. I went off to Israel. I gave up my clothes, my jewelry, everything I had. And I went one-way ticket, and I became I worked in a kibbutz in the fields, and migrant worker type. Switched my whole $1 million life around. And year and a half later, I returned to Del Mar, California, to where my home was. And of course, I gave up everything. I left my husband. My kids thought I lost my mind. I'm walking around pinning ribbons and giving up my big real estate career. And so they didn't know what to do with me. And I had changed my first and last name to Helice Bridges. I won't tell you my former name. And they said, Mom, what do we call you? And I said, you call me Mom. But I came back a different person a year and a half later. And everybody stopped me and said, you're the lady that gave me the button.
Oh.
And the button stories were huge. Everybody had their buttons were rusting on their walls, and they had one woman. I was in a restaurant with a friend, just an old friend of mine. We're going to a restaurant, and a woman comes up to me and she said, "You're the lady who gave me the button. I'm a school teacher. I put the button in the medicine cabinet. Every night I get home, I'm creating papers, and I'm making food, dinner. My kids come home, they throw the books on the floor and yell, when's dinner going to be ready? My husband comes home, pops a beer, sits in front of the TV watching sports, yells, when's dinner going to be ready? I get a headache. I leave the kitchen, march into the bathroom, open the cabinet and say, Mabel, who you are makes a difference. And she said, I haven't taken medicine in a year and a half since you told me that I mattered.
Oh, Sparky.
That was the first story. I come back after a year and a half, in that. And I'm going to tell you one more story, and then we'll move on to the power of the acknowledgement. The next one is I'm downtown in San Diego, and I hear banging on a big office building on the first floor, banging, banging. See a young man waving me in, and I go, "You come in." I come in, and he opens the drawer and pulls out the button. He said, "Do you remember when you gave me this button when I was roller skating with my son in Balboa Park?" And I said, "Well, yeah." He said, "I was falling all the time. I couldn't roller skate, but you ran over and honored me for being a great father."
Oh,
That week, I had just earned $250,000 for my company, and not one soul there said thank you or you did a great job. Now, when everything breaks down, I open the drawer, pull out the button, and I say, above all, I'm a great father.
it's so, your work is so profound, Sparky. It's so magnificent in its simplicity,
Yes.
but just epically powerful. It's just so powerful. So it moved from a button, which, I mean, already the courage to take your last handful of cash and turn it into powerful seeds of love.
Yeah.
It's just everything. It's everything. And how did you get from buttons to then what became the blue ribbon that we see now?
When I came home and I was in the button happened, I was telling the stories, and one woman who was running for county recorder came and she knew the button story, and she came over to my home with a gift wrap box, gorgeous gift wrap box, and she said, "I had a dream last night that the contents of this box would be all over the world." And she left, and I opened it up, and they were originally red and white ribbons that were scripted that said, "Who I am makes a difference," a roll of 120. And I remember sitting at my table in the dining room and cutting them one at a time, and putting little straight pins in and going, "Is this what I'm supposed to do?" And the ribbon, the red and white ribbon, morphed into the blue and gold ribbon over a short period of time, when everybody said it's the blue of the mass of blue in the sky and the ocean and all, and the gold inside of our hearts. And so I created the blue and gold ribbon from there, and it never has changed since 1982. I returned from Israel, and I started my nonprofit because my boyfriend, Arman, wanted to marry me. He was French, and he followed me to the States when I got home. And and I said no. Finally, we were dating for a year or so, and he says, "He thinks you need blue ribbons. You do the blue ribbons things, yes?" Because he was speaking 5 languages and not English, and I made him learn how to speak English because I didn't know how to speak any other language. Anyway, when he was at the airport, he says, "I don't know how to give gift that would be good for you, but I thinks you need blue ribbons." And he gives me a roll of $20 bills wrapped in one of these little ribbons from the Hallmark store or something. And when I waved at him when he got on the airplane, because in those days you could wave and they were walking up, and I was bawling, and I go, "Armand, I'm so sorry." And I came to the ocean, opened it up. It was $800 worth of $20 bills. And I said, "What do I do?" And the voice said, "Then you start your nonprofit." And I said, "What is that? And what will I call it?" In those days, I called it the Difference Makers, because it said you have make a difference. We changed it to Blue Ribbons Worldwide 5 years ago, but that's how it started.
And what is the reach now? Can you give us a few highlights to where this
Yeah,
project has gone?
yeah, because the Who I Am Makes a Difference story about a boy that did not commit suicide because his father honored him with the blue ribbon. It's a very famous story that was in Chicken Soup for the Soul. And it took us to 50 million people, just that one story.
50, wait, let's just take a hot pause here. That story, your journey, your honoring the voice, the messages that you received, putting them into action, putting them out into the world. That one story, besides saving a life, which it was acknowledged, reached 50 million people.
Exactly.
Huh.
And
Wow.
And it was the 3-page story in Chicken Soup. I knew Jack Canfield and Mark Victor Hansen. We were colleagues working, for changing education and bringing self-esteem in the world. We'd been working on that for 10 years before. And when the first book came out, first Chicken Soup book, my story was in it. Out of 2,500 submissions, I picked 101. Well, I eventually caught on, and that story was made into a movie by another company, and it went on YouTube. And it was on YouTube in 2005. From 1993, I started teaching in schools, and I started inviting kids in assemblies. I said, 2 out of every 3 of you has been abused, and I know it.
Mm.
So if it's not you, it's somebody on both sides of you. If you've ever abused anybody, bullied anybody, hurt them, come to the microphone, state your name, what you did, who you did it to, and clean it up. And in that process, kids will line up by 200-300 and spill their guts. And you talk about one 3-page story. Just because it was in Chicken Soup and became the best-selling book doesn't mean you're going to get the doors are going to open in schools for emotional breakthroughs like this. It's very raw. And but I started to honor people, and so between 1991 and 2005, because the actually story, while it was in the book, it took to 2005 and the YouTube story going in a movie where everybody started calling me from all over the world, and I have a landline, and I have a 1-bedroom house in a den, and I have a landline. And the night and day, everybody's calling me for ribbons in French and Italian and Russian and Korean and Hebrew and everything else. And I'm just twirling around, spinning like a top, going, stop. God, who am I? What's happening?
You've made a difference. You're the woman who made a difference.
So the thing about it getting big that fast is, here's the good news and the other news about that. It's a scary place to walk out the door and be the blue ribbon lady.
Mm.
Everybody wants love, and everybody needed me, and they needed a job from me, and they needed something from me, and I didn't have me yet.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot, and I had no clue. I want to honor somebody, and it was so much more wealthy inside than money. I can't understand the ceremony. I came home and I weighed it on a scale, the ribbon. It's just a ribbon, just a ribbon. I have one here right there. It's just a little ribbon. Yeah, see that?
Yeah.
I weighed it on a scale. I said, how do you do and make change in life so quickly with just this ribbon? You don't weigh anything. I weighed it on the scale to see if it weighed anything. And I said, I don't understand. See, I didn't understand love, and I didn't understand the power of acknowledgement. I just was it.
Yeah.
And so at 50 million, we stopped counting for a while because we're going for 1 billion. And we're creating a replicatable, scalable, sustainable model for my legacy. I am duplicating myself, and through my trainings for youth and adults, they have to be leaders of leaders, nominated and vetted by nominated, and they vetted by me, and they take a standing strong together, community building, leadership training, teaching humanity how to love. And those that graduate become Blue Ribbon ambassadors, and those from there want to lead Blue Ribbon cities, and now can transform an entire city. Now we are in our 5th city right now, and now we're making plans to reach every mayor in California.
Wow.
Every school district in California, and we're just talking about that this morning. Across the nation, because across the nation, Blue Ribbon cities are popping up, and leaders of leaders are leading this. Cool.
Sparky, it's just absolutely beautiful. And of course, links to learn more, to investigate becoming a leader, an ambassador, and charging up a leadership in your community would be absolutely incredible. Sparky, I'm speechless, which for me is very difficult.
Yes.
But it's so powerful and so beautiful. And I also want to share a story that I heard one of the first times I met you that
Yeah.
literally made me fall off my chair.
Oh, yeah.
And can we just recap that a little bit and talk about the power and purity of your vision and how it shows up in action? Do you know what story I'm going to ask you to share?
Yeah, I think I remember that you said something about this. And okay, so here's the thing. You got to understand that I've been honoring people for years, and all I do is focus on what's working and what I love about people. And I don't see anything, I don't see any of the other stuff that. So given that I am focused on that and I honor people, I'm in the present moment. God comes through me. I'm in a bubble. I don't even know, what comes through me. So we're at a booksellers conference. This is actually, I'm signing books for the first chicken soup book with Jack Canfield, and we're going to write another book together. So I was there, and my Diana Lumens, who's a very famous author now, she was a young author at the time. We were buddies, and we walked out at midnight. We were like the last people. 30,000 people went through that booksellers conference that day, and we're the last to go down the street and go find our car. It's dark. It's Los Angeles. Our parking is down in a garage down below. When a tall man, about 6'2", I'm 5 feet, he comes up with a gun and he points to Diane and me, and he wants our money. Diane, she holds her purse and she kind of steps back about 5 feet. And I said to the gentleman, I said, "Sir," I said, "I have a gift for you first." And I pull out a ribbon and I say, "It says who I am makes a difference. I want to honor you for asking for what you want." I said, "A lot of people don't know how to do that. Would you accept my gift?" And he just stares at me. And I said, "Do I have permission to place it on you?" And he goes like that. And I said, "Goes above your heart. And I'm cheering you on for your dreams, the ones that matter and make a difference in the world." And I give him a bing, which is the sound of making dreams come true. And I said, "And by the way, there's 2 extra ribbons. You got to go and honor somebody, tell them what they do right, and then give them a ribbon to pay it forward. And here's some change." And then I walked away. I completely forgot about that until we were writing my first book. And about 30 of my friends were there sharing their blue ribbon stories. And Diana says, "What about the mugger story?" And I said, "What mugger?" And she said, "The one that put the gun." And I said, "Oh yeah, what happened with that?"
Sparky, Sparky, Sparky. You are truly one in a billion. And 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 I mean that you can be blindsided by love, you know? And in a time when I think that fear is so popular, like it's actually trending in a way here on the planet right now, you have the antidote for that. And it begins by honoring somebody. So let's step back and actually walk us through the acknowledgement, the actual presentation of a blue ribbon, because I have ordered a ton of blue ribbons that I'm waiting for, and I'm going to be including a little message about you and your work and blue ribbons inside the purchases for Wishbeads for the month of May. So I want to share that and have people get to experience that. But can you walk our listeners through what the acknowledgement ceremony is?
Yes, absolutely. The first 3 months I did this, 35,000 people were honored by kids and adults, grandparents, business people, and about a dozen. And we talked through this, what worked, what didn't work. We found out this is what worked. And the ceremony is 7 steps. It takes less than 60 seconds to save a life. And the first thing is, first of all, a blue ribbon means first prize. So the acknowledgement is, and it says, who I am makes a difference. So when you hold the ribbon about shoulder height and you look somebody from, I do from my heart through my eyes, I send the love. I pause and I look and I say, "I have a blue ribbon for you." And I'll say your name, Alexa. I'll do that with you and anybody watching right now. It says, who I am makes a difference. And I want to honor you. I tell you how you matter to me. And how you all matter to me, and how this broadcast is so much fun. And it, because we don't, I didn't write 500 words to tell you who I was. And, and I realized that I didn't have anything. What are the 5 points we want to, we don't have to do that. We're just hanging out with each other. Yes. And that was more, it's just delicious. And I just want to just say that it is simple. Love is not easy, but it's simple. And so would you all accept this gift of the blue ribbon? May I have permission to place it on you? Don't ever touch a person without asking permission. I placed the ribbon above the heart, and if you'll see it, you can see it on my blouse. It goes above, it goes up, it's cut on an angle like an airplane. I placed the ribbon above your heart. And the minute you touch the heart, according to heart math, it tells the brain what to do. The heart always tells the brain what to do. So you touch the heart, and most people can never be touched, don't want to be touched because they've never been touched with love. You're loving them. It changes. May I place the ribbon above your heart? It points up toward all your best dreams coming true. And it is tradition for me to take the spark from my heart and put it in the cheerleaders in your ribbon. It's the sound that makes dreams come true. And the sound is bing, bing, bing. And every time you hear a bing, and people laugh, and every time you hear a bing, you'll know that the child within us just got our dream. And it is tradition for me to give you 2 extra ribbons when you honor somebody and pay it forward, have them honor another. It's 7 steps in less than 30 seconds to change a life. I'm gonna, just for the moment, I just want to break it down for a moment. Stop. See what's working. When you say, this is how I do it in the grocery store every day, wherever I go, I say, excuse me, have you ever seen a ribbon like this? And they'll go, no, I haven't. I go, people buy these ribbons so they can tell somebody how great they are. And you're great. Can I honor you and tell you how great you are? And they'll go, yeah, okay. And I go, good. And I'll say, thank you for helping me pick out the best cantaloupe today. I do this all the time. Just whatever, I'm random, thank you for helping with whatever. And I say, thank you for squeezing the tomatoes and telling me which one works. And would you accept this gift? Now, here it is. I ask, say, would you accept my gift? Gift is important. Because people will think, how much is it? What do you want for it?
Right. Our suspicious minds.
We take that away in the ceremony. At 35,000 people, it's so we don't say, so would you accept my gift and wait? And I'll say, yeah. May I have permission to place it on you? Do not smack that sucker on people. I used to do that. Doesn't work really well. Like I thought, I got the best idea in Wishbeads. Here it is. Put it on. Wear my beads. Wear my ribbon. It doesn't work, right? You just got to ask, would you accept my gift and wait? May I have permission to place it on you? Once you get permission, you say, I place it above your heart. Up toward all your greatest dreams coming true. And I will tell you that 99.999% of the planet has never had anybody cheer them on for their dreams. They don't hear that. They hear, are you crazy? You don't have enough time, my money, you're not, like it happened to me, go to musical. And I place it above your heart, and I take the spark from my heart and put it in the ribbon. It is the sound that makes dreams come true. And the sound is bing. And then the follow-up on the bing is, it's asking the question, what's your dream? How can I help you? What do you need?
Oh.
And it starts a whole new feeling of, wow, you can hear my dream? Yes, I can hear your dream. What is it? I'm not sure. Well, if you were sure, what would it be? Well, I always wanted to go to Italy. And then we talk through it. And in 1 minute, by the time a person leaves me, they already know how to go to Italy, how to save the money, whatever, because that's what we can do for people, to uplift them and give them the courage to keep on keeping on.
Oh, Sparky, I just love you to pieces. And you are just You are the balm to the soul of people on this planet.
Mm,
And it makes me so happy to know you, to learn from you, to support you, to share your wishes, dreams, and goals with an audience, and just let that ripple effect of love grow and grow and grow. It's just you're just amazing. Thank you so much for sharing who you are and having the courage to listen to that voice and become this transformational leader. It's
mm.
really incredible.
Thank you so much. And just know that we're creating blue ribbon cities all over the world for youth and adults to lead it. And it's really, um, it's magic when people come toward you, and the musical on Broadway. The musical,
Yes.
yes. So I think it's time up. Are we at the time up?
Yeah, we're pretty much, no, we can talk a little bit more. It's up to you. I know you are working on a very, very big wish, but I didn't know how much you wanted to share. So if
Oh,
you feel inspired, by all
no,
means.
I want to, because it comes every day is something new.
Okay.
I just want to tell you that it was August last year, and one of my colleagues had a client, Gelato Love, and she said, you know, I think I'll ask her if they would create a blue ribbon flavor gelato for you. And so we went down, and she said yes, and I thought, great, cool. And for our global campaign, which was, it's in November the first, it'll be November the 1st through the 7th, and it was last year and this year. And I make up stuff. I say I'm going to have a global campaign, and all of a sudden we got gelato. So this is actually July. So as I'm walking out of meeting Paula, who they're fantastic Italian people that own it, and I said, well, why don't I wait to November? Why can't we just eat gelato blue ribbon flavor now and have a kickoff and launch something? And I said, well, wait a minute. Hannah, who's now, she's now 19, but she was 18 at the time. I said, Hannah wanted to bring this whole concept. She's one of my students, to her high school when she was in high school, and to get everybody honored in our high school, and then teach 11,000 kids in Carlsbad community, elementary, middle, and high school kids, how to honor each other, to honor 50,000 people and tell their stories of the difference it made. That was her vision. And then COVID happened.
Mm.
And then it was immediately after, and then she graduated, went on to college, and went on to get a waitress job. And so all of a sudden it struck me, I've got this, I can give her a platform. So I said, Hannah, how about if I make you the leader of the first blue ribbon city in the world, Carlsbad, California, and we'll go to the mayor and we'll get a proclamation, and we'll go to the superintendent and we'll talk about this. And she said, do you know them? I said, no, I don't know them. She said, what do you do? I said, I will call. We get a proclamation. It's how you do it. And
I
so
love it.
then I called Gelato and I said, can we have a kickoff at your place? Because outside is a beautiful fountain. And anyway, the long and short is we created 50 people, a red carpet event, a singers, we got a proclamation. But here is the greater story for everybody to know how to make a duplication. This is a student of mine now. Okay, and she's certified to be a Blue Ribbon ambassador. And now I said she's going to be the first Blue Ribbon city. So the mayor is there and passing the proclamation to her. And what Hannah, and the second blue ribbon in Moose Lake, Minnesota, sixth grade science teacher Brad Hubert hears about it, and he goes, if she's the first, I'm the second. And he flies in from Minnesota, okay?
Amazing.
Sixth grade science teacher. And so Hannah says she wants to pass the torch, and I went to Michael's and I got them cardboard thing, and we put a scotch tape on it and some fire on it. And I said, by the power invested in me as the founder of Blue Ribbons Worldwide, Hannah Katz, I hereby declare you the leader of the first Blue Ribbon city in the world, Carlsbad, California. She takes the torch and she turns to Brad. By the power invested in me as the first Blue Ribbon city in the world leader, I hereby proclaim you, Brad Hubert, as the leader of the second Blue Ribbon city in the world, Moose Lake, Minnesota. Moose Lake, Minnesota Brad went back and he had 360 people in his kickoff. I had 50. CBS covered it, everything. He has been named the Elementary Science Teacher of the Year for the state of Minnesota. He's got an anti-suicide campaign. He did all the GoFunding, and he put 2 other students, 2 other teachers into the training. That's over $2,000. And he got GoFunding for 5,000 ribbons. He just called me 2 days ago, and he just made another GoFundMe for another 5,000 ribbons. And he also is up now. He's out of 86,000 teachers in the state. He's in the top 11. If he wins it, he'll win the state Teacher of the Year.
Oh, it's incredible. It's just incredible. It's so beautiful.
So I'm going to end this with one thing. I'm flying to the 4th blue ribbon city in the world, Denver, Colorado, on May 2nd. We, with the mayor of Denver, it's a mayor's initiative. 54% of Denver kids, the increase is 54% in suicide in Denver, second largest in the United States over the last 4 years. It's an initiative. It's an all-day speaking. We'll be talking to 500 at-risk kids, middle and high school kids. I'll be one of the opening speakers. Catherine Sillery, who is the leader of the 4th blue ribbon city in the world. She is a 3 times TED presenter. She is a parenting specialist.
Wow.
And she'll close it. And then the whole city has got, resources for kids. And I go and meet with one of the schools there that just bought 500 ribbons and say, how can you lead this and be the anchor for all of Denver? And that's what I get to do now.
Oh, Sparky, it's just incredible. Tell everybody where they can go to learn more, to sign up, to become a leader, to take your leadership course. What's the best place to find you?
So the best place is to email me at Sparky, SPARKY at Blue Ribbons, BLUERIBBONS.org. Email me and say, I want to talk to you about being a leader, because we have to see if it's a great fit. That's number one. And take the courses coming up. June 1st is the next 6 weeks class, 2 hours a week, online. Okay. And
Right.
then you graduate.
Great. June 1st. That's wonderful.
It starts on June 1st. That'd be the best way. You can call me directly. Here it goes. Yes, I'm giving you a phone number.
Okay. If you want to call Spark, who wouldn't want to talk to you? But all right, let's go.
If I don't have a thing on there, I have to check it out, because I get a lot of this other weird calls. But 760-687-5957. I'm going to repeat it. 760-687-5957. And then, of course, our website is Blue Ribbons, BLUERIBBONS.org. Go on there, check it all out. Yeah. But you have to talk to me about Standing Strong Together training, because that's not it. You can't sign up and pay for it unless
you get approved.
Yeah, you got to be approved.
Well, I'm very excited to talk to you more about that program and introductions I can make. We'll talk about that after the podcast. But Sparky, you are a treasure of a human. I adore you. 80 years old, friends. There is so much power. If people think like, oh, I'm getting older, it just gets better and better. And you are a shining example for all of us to continue to step into your dreams, to make an impact in the world, to stay young, to meet people, to get out there. It's just awesome. So Sparky, I adore you. I'm so honored to call you a friend.
Oh my God. Mwah.
Mwah. Right back at you.
Bing.
Bing. The best. That's the cherry on top.
I'm telling you.
I love it. I love it. And just as a reminder, we're getting lots of blue ribbons here at Wishbeads, and we're gathering our materials together so that with orders, we will be adding some special blue ribbons with some instructions so that you can make a difference in the world and honor others to do the same. So thank you, Sparky. You are just an incredible human, and I'm so honored to know you.
I'm pumped. Thank you.